Welcome to the Integrated Self Podcast, where I teach you how to navigate your healing and expansion in mindset, energy, spirit, health, and life. I'm your host, Arianna, a board-certified holistic health coach and spiritual guide whose mission is to help awaken you to your inner power so you can free yourself from the past and create your future. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Integrated Self Podcast. I'm so excited that you guys are here. Today, we're going to be talking about your environment and actually how to set it up so that it's supporting you, so that when you have a goal or you want to just work on anything, whether you're on your healing journey, whether you are somebody who just wants to feel better, whether you realize that maybe the people around you or the things that you do or the music you listen to, you're realizing that these things make you feel certain ways, and that by curating our environment and setting it up to promote what we want it to promote, we're actually allowing ourselves to be in flow. We're actually allowing ourselves to be in control and set up essentially the parameters in which support us towards that goal, towards healing, towards relaxation. When the pandemic hit and I was really going inward, I did a lot of shadow work during the past couple of years. And what I realized is that there's a lot of things that I surrounded myself with that really contributed, or I felt like held me back from what I was trying to accomplish. And so it wasn't until I really started to look around me and evaluate, okay, what are things that have easy access to me? What are things that I allow to suck my energy? What do I give my energy to that I should kind of reel it back in, and what are some things, or even it could be music that you don't really resonate with anymore? Because as you grow and as you reach new perspectives, it kind of changes the way you perceive other things around you. And so it's very normal that when you start to grow and you start to reach new depths of yourself and you start to expand yourself and really get closer to your authentic self, it's very, very normal to realize that a lot of the people, a lot of the music, a lot of the shows, a lot of the things that you're used to having around you don't vibe with you anymore. And it's okay. It's totally normal. And this is why I created this episode, because if I could tell my younger self 3 years ago or 5 years ago, hey, this might help you out. And if you have any goal of any kind, this is a very important episode to get you to actually understand that you have the ability and the power to control what takes your energy, what you give your energy to, right? And that if we can set up our environment in a certain way that actually promotes healing or relaxation or rest, positivity, right? There are certain things that we can address and really evaluate so that when we start working towards these goals, we have the best case scenario set up around us. So it really keeps us focused on that goal and we don't allow certain distractions to divert our energy away, right? So your environment, by definition, is the surroundings or conditions in which that person operates in. Okay. So I like to separate your environment by talking about your external environment. So basically anything outside of yourself. That could be media, social media, news, TV shows, really anything that you consume, content, Instagram. It could also be just news articles or a podcast like this one, right? So your external environment contains your media in all forms, any toxins that you expose yourself to. So that could be alcohol, certain substances, but it could also be like certain hair products or soaps, certain things that actually have a lot of chemicals in them that can be contributing to some imbalances within the physical body. So I started cutting out a lot of shampoos, a lot of hand soaps, a lot of lotions, because there actually are a lot of endocrine disruptors in these products. And so we can start talking about all of these things, but essentially what I want to mention is that your external environment contains media, toxins, your home, right? Your immediate environment that you are in most of the time, your home, and then people, of course. So, the easiest and best way to go about curating your environment to promote healing or promote goals or growth of any kind is to look at your external environment, right? So, when I first started going inward and healing and really examining certain parts of myself and learning, what makes me miserable, what things am I giving my attention to that don't make me feel good? The first thing that I did was go on social media and immediately unfollow anybody. I don't care if it was a friend, a high school friend, a family member, it doesn't matter. Unfollow people that don't make you feel good, right? Or unfollow people that watching their content serves no purpose in your life. It's actually a waste of time. So, for example, I used to love watching makeup videos and beauty freaking YouTube videos and stuff like that, right? So I follow a lot of um, beauty makeup artists, right? Do I have an interest in beauty? Do I have an interest in doing makeup or, buying all these products and trying them all? No. I just watched them because it was entertaining to me. But when I started really understanding, like, obviously I was going to open a business and I had all these goals, I knew what I was working towards. I knew that if I opened my Instagram and I saw a reel or someone's story of a beauty artist, I would click on it. And in turn, what I realized is I was wasting so much time watching people online that have no purpose being in my life other than entertainment, right? And I think I could find better ways to entertain myself when I have time to just sit down and be entertained by something, right? So essentially, what I did was get on Instagram, get on Facebook, and unfollow anybody that is not aligned with me and my values in the direction I'm heading, is spreading negativity, gossip, complaining, all of that energy I needed out of my field, right? Because the last thing I wanted was to, while I'm building my business or while I'm working towards my goals of living a healthier lifestyle, of becoming a leader in this industry, of building programs, of serving my clients, why would I want to go on Instagram and spend all this time being sucked into content that has no value to me, is negative, makes me self doubt, makes me self sabotage, tells me that the world is ending to promote fear, right? None of that is useful in where we're going. So that's the first thing that I did. And that seems kind of savage. That seems like a little cutthroat. But my point is, when are you going to achieve that goal? Right? Would you rather try and achieve a goal, keep everything around you the same, and have certain energy vampires, is what I like to call them, people that just want to suck your energy away? Um, would you rather go towards that goal and have people around you and things and media and all these distractions constantly pulling your attention away from where you want to go? Or would you rather do these things, cut everything out that doesn't serve you, and watch where you land in 6 months from now? Right? Like, you sit on social media, and I'm not saying you specifically, the listener, but we is a better word. We sit on social media and watch all these people live successful lives, right? And a year goes by and we're still watching them. And they probably have jumped multiple tax brackets because they're feeding off of us. And we're sitting here in our same life a year later, like, oh, I haven't made a damn change for myself, right? So it's like, it's almost like you have to find that drive and that motivation within you. Because, for example, this is a quick little example. I always wanted to be muscular. Not muscular in the way that you're thinking, but just healthier, more toned. I just wanted to be in better shape. There's nothing wrong with that. I have clients that I work with on doing that. And I let years and years go by where, because I wasn't putting in 100% of my effort, right? So a year went by and I went to the gym maybe 2 times a week, 3 times a week, because I wasn't holding that goal so high. I wasn't working super hard towards it. I still showed up for myself here and there, but I wasn't super invested in it. And of course, a year later, I took before pictures, and a year later, like, my body is the exact same, right? So it's almost like, if you really want something for yourself, you're the only one that can make that happen. And this is why I created this podcast episode, because it's so important to take control of the things around you, right? So what I did was, now I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, and I already notice, because I'm staying consistent and I've curated my environment around me to be supportive in that. I eliminate distractions, I eliminate negativity, right? So I'm always in this empowered mindset. I'm excited, I'm motivated. Nothing around me is distracting me. So of course I'm just going to get it going, And I've already noticed a lot of changes in my body. I feel way more in shape than I did a couple months ago. I feel strong, I feel healthier, I have more energy. And that, I think that, going back to what I was saying, it's really important to make sure that, if you really want something, that you're working towards it. And, think about all the people online that you spend so much of your time watching, how far they're able to grow. And even if that's not your goal, is growing online, right? Like, we watch other people do it. So there's nothing special about them. You know what I mean? Like, you can do the same thing. You just have to kind of keep your head down for a little bit. That quote that says, keep your head down for 6 months and only work on yourself, and watch how much growth you're able to have. And that's so freaking true. Once you really hone in and you're all about you for 3 to 6 months, you can grow yourself so much. And it really takes eliminating these distractions. So go on Instagram and delete or unfollow, or I don't know, whatever other notifications are available, so that, when you go on social media, you actually have people that you follow that are funny, that inspire you, that have the same interests as you, so that even when you're not working towards your goals, and you are, you had a great day, you're sitting down and you're going on social media for a little bit, the people that you're consuming are in alignment with you and where you want to go, right? Instead of spending your time watching stupid stuff. And what I've been able to do is curate my algorithms now on Instagram and on TikTok, so that when I do go on social media, it's a positive experience for me, right? So I'm following financial millionaires. I'm following, other coaches that have 7-figure businesses. I follow, business coaches, mentors. I follow spiritual leaders. I follow, all these people that are where I want to be, living the lives that I want to live, or have the knowledge that I want to acquire, or live the lifestyle that I want to live one day. So it's like, no matter where you turn in your external environment, you have something positive that's going, you're going to take something from it. Like, there's just so much content at our disposal at all times, and it's so easy to get sucked into it. And it's like, what is the value here? There is none, you know? So, 4 things make up your external environment. We have media, which we just talked about, and we have toxin. So, don't get me wrong. I love Oreos. I love brownies. I had an ice cream sandwich last night. Okay. I'm just putting that out there because I try and be as transparent as possible at all times. I don't just eat fruits and vegetables, right? And those that know me know that. But what I'm talking about is really kind of just slowly transitioning out of majority of your diet being processed foods, right? Because again, when we're working towards our goals, we're working towards growth or healing of any kind, right? Maybe you just want to be financially growing yourself, and you have to hold that mindset, right? You can't acquire money that you don't believe in your mind that you're deserving of. And so, no matter what your goal is, it's really important to make sure you're fueling your physical body with actual nourishment, because your gut is your second brain. There's actually majority of your immune cells are located in your gut. And so it's basically the foods that we eat directly affect our mental health as well. It's like the gut is our second brain, is what they say. What I started to do when I started going on this journey is evaluating what foods make me feel like absolute crap. What foods do I eat that immediately after or the rest of the night I feel like sluggish, exhausted, bloated, nasty, not like myself, right? If you start to fuel your body with foods that make you feel energized, make you feel healthy, fill you up, know that your body is using for its functions, then you are you're going to have more energy, you're going to have more clarity in your mental body, right? And so what we can do is slowly transition, try and weed out some of those processed foods. Like I used to drink a lot of juice and I would have a soda here and there. But I realized that juice has so much sugar in it that if I drink like water all day and then with dinner I have a glass of juice, I kind of get anxiety because majority of the day I don't really eat sugar unless I get it from fruit. And then I slam my body with dinner and a huge glass of juice, which contains so much sugar that I then having like a little bit of anxiety, right? So it's really important to just kind of weed out, ask yourself, how can I kind of make some substitutes, right? So it's not about just waking up one day and going on this, 0 to 100 diet where you're just eating like carrots. I did that once in college. Oh, the old times. Just try to treat your physical body as someone that has already accomplished that goal you want to accomplish, or you know just notice. And I always am such a huge advocate for listening to your body. I think of our bodies as always trying to communicate with us, and so when you have a meal or you have a snack or you have a soda, think about how your body feels, right? Feed your body and then kind of ask it, oh, how'd you like that? Am I bloated? Am I constipated? Do I have cramps? Whatever it is. I stopped eating a lot of fried food because I noticed that every time I had fried food, my stomach had these sharp pains in it, and I just knew that it was all the oil and the breading from the fried food. So I kind of really just I eat fried food still, of course, but in moderation. It's not something I have all the time, like maybe once a week, if that. And I don't really eat out anymore either. I'd rather cook my own meals. So just make sure that you're trying to weed out anything that doesn't make you feel good as far as foods. And look at the ingredient labels and your shampoo, your products that you use, because ultimately you're putting those things on your skin, and your skin is your largest organ, and your skin absorbs those things. And so there's a lot of information out there nowadays about the toxins and the endocrine disruptors, which is a hormone disruptor in a lot of our products, especially women. So it's really important to start to just evaluate those things and ask yourself, like, is this the best choice? So the third category in external environment is your home. I'm the type where if I need to do work, or if I'm doing some reflection, or I'm doing some meditations or whatever it is, if I'm home, my home's got to be clean. Your home is your extension of your energy field. So if you walk in your home and your home hasn't been cleaned, it's kind of dirty, there's crumbs everywhere, laundry needs to be done, dishwasher needs to be unloaded, all these things, that brings a chaotic energy, right? And most of the time, for me at least, when I sit down amongst a mess, I can't focus. And that's because your energy field extends into your home. And so it's really important, if you have anxiety, if you're stressed, to kind of just pick up your home, make your bed, pick up anything off the floor, wipe, dust your tables and all the things, organize your fridge, whatever you need to do, so that mentally that your environment is clean, and that now you can go ahead and do whatever you were going to do. And it kind of eliminates that added layer of chaotic energy or anxiety when you're in your home, right? So we want our home to be clean, to allow fresh energy to come in, right? And actually, the first of the month, every month, there's actually, if you go on TikTok, there's plenty of videos explaining this. But the first of the month, what I do to welcome in fresh new energy, welcome in miracles, or just like positive blessings into my home, is stand in my doorway. I stand in the doorway to my home, like I'm outside facing inside my home, right? In your left hand, pour a little bit of cinnamon. Okay. Now you're standing in your doorway in your home, and your hand has like a teaspoon of cinnamon on it, right? Cinnamon is like a lucky herb. It's very good for like just welcoming in things like this. So what I do is I stand there. It's 11:11 on my clock too. On the first of the month, stand there with the cinnamon in your hand, and I just kind of close my eyes and set the intention for what I want to come into my home that month. So I just bless my home. I just stand there and I say, Thank you, God, for this home. Thank you, God, for my boyfriend. I bring in this month, I bring in health, financial gain, clarity, happiness. Bless this home with happiness, love, wealth, and health. Just make something up, just a little prayer, a little intention, or a little blessing. Now, when you're done, I normally like really feel into that. I take a second in that moment, and then you just blow. You just blow the cinnamon into your home. And normally my dog comes and licks it, but I just do that every month. And every month, like, it just sets the new tone. I do it on the first of the month. And actually, the first month I did it, my income doubled. And I think that's really awesome. So it's just a little ritual, if you will, to do to welcome new energy into your home every month. So, anyway, that's the home portion. So, make sure your home is clean, is, set up for success. Like, let's pretend you're a student or you are, you work from home. Make sure that your office or your workspace is clean. So if there's a lot of cups on it, if there's like coffee rims, stains on the, whatever it is, just wipe it down so that when you sit down, like, this is a clean space. It's renewed. And, there's nothing there that adds to any stressful, chaotic energy that we don't want to bring in. All right. And the last section of external environment is people. This is a big topic. So a lot of times when we are working towards a goal, or we are healing, or we need to relax or just de-stress, whatever it is, whatever goal we're working towards, whatever we're trying to promote in our home or just in our own lives, there comes a time where it becomes very obvious to see who's in your circle and who is not. And it doesn't mean that these people are straight up rude and just obviously not on your side. It's actually people that have probably been around you a lot of your life, or maybe recently, for the past couple of years. And when you start to heal or when you start to grow, right, we realize new things about ourselves. We become closer to who we are. We start to act, think, or behave in different ways. And that can just cause our relationship dynamics to change. And we might reach new perspectives in our thinking where it becomes obvious that people that we're normally around, are really negative. I think that I didn't realize how negative a lot of the people I surrounded myself with were until I changed that for myself. And then I became someone who saw the positive side to things around a bunch of negative people, and it just clashed. It wasn't good for me to be around these people. It's funny because a lot of people that have something to say aren't really working on themselves. And so it can be triggering when the people who have the loudest voices about you aren't doing shit, you know? So just keep that in mind. But I think it's really important to understand that, people fall out of our lives and it's normal for that to happen. So a lot of us might think like, oh, we're not friends anymore, something happened, or, I lost a friend. And it's like, no, you didn't lose a friend. Like, you're not aligned anymore. You're on two different wavelengths, and that's totally okay. We need to understand that not every single person in our life is supposed to stay there. Like, some people come in our lives to teach us something. Some people come in our lives forever. Some people come in our lives for a season. And it's just interesting how these dynamics can shift and change, especially as a lot of us are choosing to grow and a lot of us are choosing to better ourselves. And so it's very normal to look around you and say, you know what, that person actually kind of brings a lot of drama into my life, and that doesn't make me feel so good. So I'm not going to cut them out. I'm not going to say something to them. I'm just going to, maybe distance myself a little bit, not see them as much, or only see them when I'm in this energetic space to be able to handle that, right? So I think that it's just important to have these boundaries in place and never put ourselves in a situation where, maybe we don't feel so good mentally, or maybe these people say, I'm so proud of you, you're doing amazing, but behind closed doors, they're talking shit about you, right? And as someone who can read energy very well, I can pick up on those things. So I just think it's funny that people still choose to do that. and then think that I have no idea what's going on. So I think it just, as you grow and as you heal, you start to learn, who's actually on your side, who's two-faced, who's not there for you. And just know that when people, my circle has gotten a lot smaller. A lot smaller. My circle is very, very small. And that's okay with me because I know that in order to bring in new people that are on my vibe, that are on my wavelength, that means that certain people in my life have to go, right? Like we have to create room for new to come in. So if you think about it, if there's a lot going on in your life, you see a lot of people all the time, you have a lot of friends, you know, there's just so much going on with you, there's so much in your energetic field, then you're probably not going to be able to take on much more, right? So maybe you're not presented with a lot of new people. Maybe you're not presented with more opportunities to level up because your current field is so full. And we have to start to weed out certain things that don't get to come with us on this new chapter so that the new can come in, the better can come in, right? And obviously hold space and love and compassion for everybody. Like even when I hear that someone's talking about me, or, I know my name's circulating, I am just like, you know what? They have the right to talk shit about me. That says a lot more about them than me, though. And I'm going to just stay here and not talk about them and just sit in my own energy and keep my head down and do what I need to do. I just think that it's important to understand the types of relationships that we have around us and what we actually get from them, right? So if you have a lot of friends around you right now and you're healing, and all they do is talk about celebrity gossip or, get drunk, and that's not who you are anymore, then maybe you could start distancing yourself from them, because chances are when you're with them, you're in that environment, you're not going to feel so good. You're not going to feel aligned with what the topics of conversation are. You're not going to want to go get drunk, and that's totally okay. And I think that conversations can be had too, of course. So, your external environment, just to review, is media, toxins, home, and people. So, start to really evaluate your external environment. Kind of think about what goal you're working towards, or what kind of version of you want to become in 6 months' time, a year, and think, okay, well, what things am I doing or putting my energy into right now in my external environment? So things that are outside of me, right? What kinds of things really take a lot of my energy, but in return, I don't really get anything back, right? Is it people in your life? Do you hang out with all these people and give your time to these people, but when you leave, you feel drained? You don't really feel like you benefited from that time with them, right? Maybe they don't really care about you. Like, it's so funny to me, there's a lot of people in my life that would stalk my social medias and be all about what I'm doing, but then when we're together, they don't ask me about it. And that's totally okay, but it's just like I'm the one asking all the questions, I'm the one asking, trying to get them to talk, and then I'm realizing, wait, why am I sitting here trying to pick apart this person so that we can talk, but they're not even holding up their end of the conversation? They're not asking about me. It's like, how's work? And they're like, good. And they don't ask about my work. And that's okay. Maybe they don't care, and that's okay if they don't care. But why am I sitting here spending my time and energy, in this situation? So start to put yourself in rooms that you want to be in. Start exposing your mind to things that you genuinely want to learn, that you think could benefit you. Start consuming content and doing research on the things that you want to do, right? It could be anything. And this brings in more positivity in your life. It aligns you with your interests, and then in turn aligns you with the right people, the right opportunities, instead of just, sitting on the couch one night watching 2 hours of social media videos and then just being like, oh, I haven't learned anything. I don't feel that good about myself because I was just watching the Kardashians, and, now I'm actually just in this weird mood. We have control over our external environment, and we always have control over what things take energy from us and what things we choose to pour our energy into. So that's your external environment. Now, I want to talk about your internal environment. And this takes a little bit more time, obviously, to curate and to kind of program to the right frequency that you want it to be at. So your internal environment, in my opinion, contains your thoughts, your emotions, exercise, so how you take care of your body, right? So your internal environment, thoughts, emotions, and physical body. So when it comes to your internal environment, your external environment directly influences your internal environment. So, for example, I'll use the whole social media thing. Actually, I'll use the example of news, right? I think we all know at this point that the news purposely picks what things they want to share with us. And every time that we click on the news in the past 3.5 years, it's been completely fear, negativity, the world's ending. It promotes fear. It instills fear within us, right? So let's pretend you allow that in your external environment and you watch the news every day. When you watch the news, you know that you feel fear. You get stressed in the morning, right? And that's very interesting too. I always tell my clients, like, try not to watch the news in the morning because cortisol is our stress hormone. It's also used for other functions of the body. But in the morning, our bodies release and secrete a high level of cortisol, which is what wakes us up, right? So, melatonin, our brain secretes melatonin to put us to sleep. And then in the morning, what wakes us up is cortisol. But cortisol is our stress hormone. So when cortisol is super high in the morning, right, which is okay because it wakes us up and then it normally plateaus down. But when cortisol is really high in the morning, let's pretend, and then you immediately grab your cup of coffee and you turn the news on, you're going to spike that cortisol level again, especially if you watch the news and you know that you get stressed or feel fear or feel sad, right? You're kind of like starting your day off in the opposite energy that you want to have for the rest of the day. And so, my point is with that example that your external environment influences your internal environment. So, when you watch the news, right, your thoughts, your emotions change. You start thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on? The world's ending. This is bullshit. Whatever it is. Now, your internal environment is synced with the news, your external environment. Thinking about it that way too, our external environment makes or breaks our internal environment. And that's the whole point of this episode, which is why I'm saying by setting up your external environment, you're basically allowing your internal environment to have the best shot at succeeding or growing or healing or relaxing or whatever your goal is, because you've purposely set up your external environment to not promote stress, to not promote fear, to not make you feel like shit about yourself. I'm going to make a whole nother podcast episode on, this is what I do for a living, which is mindset, thoughts, thought programming, emotional processing, and, really tapping into our bodies and learning where emotions are felt and where emotions are held in the body and how to release them and how to understand what they're trying to tell us. And so your internal environment is really what's going on the inside, right? So your thoughts are your self-talk. So in the morning, think about it. Do you have any thoughts every day that you have over the course of multiple days in a row, right? So when you're washing your face in the morning, when you are getting dressed, you're putting on your underwear, whatever it is, and you glimpse at yourself in the mirror, what's your first thought, right? That's a very good indicator of something that we could work on together. So your internal environment is something that obviously takes a little bit more time to heal, because it's a programmed way. It's held in your subconscious, the self-talk that you have, the ways in which you are used to thinking. So your internal environment talks about your thoughts, emotions, and the state of your body, right? So if you don't have a lot of energy, your internal environment, because you've been eating a lot of crap, or you haven't been getting that much sleep, right? How do you think you're going to be able to show up for yourself? So it's really important to not only evaluate our external environment, but evaluate our internal environment. What's going on within us that's stopping us from achieving these goals, from getting in the gym, from doing our meditation, right? A lot of clients will be like, oh, I didn't do my meditation. And there's no excuse for that. It's only 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes. I know you do, right? What were you doing in those 10 minutes? Were you on TikTok? So, for example, if you want to increase your finances or you want to increase your confidence, let's use the confidence example because I think in my last episode I used the money example. If you want to increase your confidence, right? And we're going to bring this full circle right now. What are some things in your external environment that you can adjust to promote self confidence, right? You can stop or distance yourself from people that judge you, that have an opinion, that make jokes about your appearance or, make you feel less than. You can stop following people on social media that, body shame or that, aren't on a self-confidence journey. You can start following, look for people that are on their self-confidence journey. Start binge watching their content, right? Start allowing your mind in the morning, instead of watching someone that makes you feel like shit about yourself, how about you find somebody that you can wake up and on Instagram you click on their profile and it's positive, it's about confidence, it's exactly what you're working towards, right? Wouldn't you think that exposing yourself to that person and their content would be more beneficial for your mindset and your self-confidence journey than clicking on, a model or a TikToker or, a Kardashian or someone with a body that you're never meant to have, right? Because everybody's bodies are built different. So, other things that you can do though when it comes to your internal environment on a self-confidence journey would be start learning to compliment yourself, right? Ask yourself in certain situations, you know, is this experience or is me going to this event going to be good or bad for me? Is this a good environment for me to be in right now while I'm healing? Examine your goals. Figure out, okay, what's the environment that would promote the most success, that would literally propel me towards this goal faster than if I didn't change anything around me and I was constantly being pulled in all these directions, being confused, having a lot of fear in my life, having a lot of insecurity, right? Pinpointing what those things are. What things in your life make you feel insecure? Maybe even stop going on social media and start reading books, start reading someone's story about their self-confidence journey. Like I love getting off social media and reading a book or doing a meditation, just leaving my phone somewhere and going, like, living my life without being so connected to everything and everyone else all the time. And when we're able to kind of create that space for ourselves and allow ourselves to be in our own energy for once, because I'm pretty sure everybody listening hasn't been in their own energy for a long period of time before. Once you really get to recognize your own energy and you feel it, and you start to know, like, when other things clash with your energy, right? So it kind of takes like an unlearning of always being connected, always being tapped in, always having our phone around us, and asking ourselves, you know what? How do I want to feel? And curate that energy around you, get to know it, so that when you're around someone else, it's so obvious when their energy is clashing with yours. When you bring in your amazing energy and you know what that feels like, and then someone comes up to you and starts having a conversation and you immediately feel your energy just going lower and lower and lower, right? And then it's so obvious and it's so cool because it's like this little superpower that no one knows, unless they know it of themselves, right? Like, you'll never know if I'm in a group of people that I'm feeling my energy and I'm feeling their energy, right? But you probably just think I'm having a regular conversation, but I'm always aware because I've developed this connection between my mind and body. I know how my body changes around different people when I eat certain foods, right? Our bodies are the best freaking indicators. That's why people say listen to your intuition, because your intuition will never lead you the wrong way. So when you're in an interaction with somebody and you have this weird feeling, or like you and your friends are going shopping and you pull up to a store and you're like, we're not supposed to be here. I don't know what it is. I have a weird feeling. I don't think we should go inside. Freaking listen to it. Just drive away, right? That's the number one thing. I think I always hear these videos of people saying, like, something bad happened somewhere and they were about to go in and someone was like, no, I just had this bad feeling and we didn't end up going there, and then this happened. Your intuition never leads you the wrong way. Your body never lies to you, right? So just learn that whenever you're around other people, whenever you're eating certain foods, when you're drinking alcohol, feel the way your body changes. Feel the way your mind starts to shift. Couple drinks in, right? Because alcohol, for example, it lowers our consciousness. It lowers our conscious mind, right? And it basically opens up our subconscious mind. When people drink alcohol, their innate behaviors, their innate thoughts just come out, just come flowing out of their mouths. Because when you've especially had multiple drinks, your subconscious mind is open. Basically, you're running on autopilot. You're running on the programs, the thoughts, the feelings that are natural for you to have on a day to day basis. So when we drink now, for example, I have cut down a lot of my drinking. Like, I really don't drink that much anymore. And so, since I took like a whole month to 6 weeks off of drinking, and then I had a glass of wine and a high noon, I felt like I was like floating because my body hasn't had that in a long time. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't need to drink that much because only 2 drinks like really does it for me. Just examine the way that you are when you're drinking. And that's where I kind of realized that I wanted to stop drinking as much. Not that I was ever really, I just partied a lot in college as everybody does. I had the normal college experience, but then, I moved out with my boyfriend and I would normally have drinks on the weekends, but now even when the weekends come around, I don't really crave a drink. And especially I don't drink when I try not to resort to alcohol when I'm in an emotional state. So I actually had a really, really, really bad day a couple weeks ago. And I knew when I was driving home, like my mind was like, you're just go get a bottle of wine, girl. Like you just need a freaking drink. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. That's the exact opposite behavior that I want to start programming myself with. So if I say, "Oh, you're stressed, go get a bottle of wine," and I do that, the next time I think my family has a lot of addictive tendencies, and so I know that about me, and I know that if I did start doing that and justifying that in my head, like, "Oh, you've just had a stressful day. Oh, you're just sad. Oh, just something happened out of the blue. Go get a bottle of wine." I didn't want to program myself to have that um, be my go-to coping mechanism. So I didn't do that. I didn't stop at the liquor store, and I came home and I honestly did a meditation and I journaled about my feelings and I felt better. And that's all I needed. I didn't need to go down 3 glasses of wine and shut out all of my emotions, which the next day would just end up coming to the surface again anyway. So I just know that whenever I did drink to basically numb my feelings, the feelings come up 10 times more powerful when you are sober, like the next morning. And I hate that feeling. And I also had a lot of experiences in college where I was so irresponsible with drinking alcohol that I have said things I regret. I've done things that are extremely embarrassing. I just don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to drug my mind so much so that I'm out of control and I have no idea what I'm saying or doing. That's actually very scary to me now that I think about it. And so I'm really glad that I've been able to change certain things. And I want to be the example that when we do change certain things about ourselves, or we have these goals of trying to be more healthy or trying to think better or, cut out negativity or, just heal from certain things we've been through, I think it's really important to understand that not everything is black and white. So, for example, I'm a holistic health coach, but occasionally I have a drink. I'm a holistic health coach, but I still eat brownies. I had an ice cream sandwich last night. It's all about what goes well and works well in your life, in your circumstances. I love having private clients and I love curating. I just don't have any hard and fast rules. And I think a lot of coaches do. A lot of holistic coaches, are sober and they don't eat any carbs and they don't eat any processed foods. And that's great. I'm sure they're very healthy. But I also know that I want to value being a human being. I know that enjoying food is a part of that. I know that having a cocktail is, enjoyable for the taste. I don't drink it anymore to alter my state of mind. It's just about balance and allowing yourself to indulge in life and immerse yourself in this human experience and not have any hard and fast rules. I don't believe in restriction, but I also believe that, we can curate and alter certain things, substitute certain things out, and find that natural balance for you where you feel healthy, you feel good, but you're also freaking happy because you're not restricting yourself. You're not saying, oh, I can't have that brownie because that's 120 calories and that's over my limit. Like, no, let's try and find a balance. Let's try and curate an environment internally and externally that works really well for you, that you thrive in, because everybody's environment, their optimal environment, is different, right? And that's what I do. As a holistic health coach, about to be a doctor in natural medicine, we really look at your environment and how your environment around you is contributing to your health. It's essentially terrain theory, whereas modern medicine or Western medicine goes off of germ theory. So it's a completely different perspective, and I really hope that you took away a lot of things from today's podcast. Just to review again, your environment is the surroundings or conditions in which you operate in. Your internal environment is your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical body, the state of your physical body. And your external environment is media, is food, is your home, and is people around you. All right. So essentially, what we can do, and what the work I do, is curating and syncing these two environments together. So, what you can do to get started is start curating your external environment, right? That's something that's a lot easier, right, than changing the way that you think on a day-to-day basis. So, what you can do is look at your external environment, go on your socials, really evaluate and ask yourself, does this person make me feel good? Does this person add substance to my life or not? Is this a waste of time? Do I see myself doing, living, or being like this person that I spend so much of my time day to day watching? Yes or no, right? Cut them out. Now you're making more room for new interests, for new people that might benefit you more, right? New energy. So, your external environment, really start working on that. I'll put all this information in the show notes. And then once your external environment you think has been cleaned, you kind of really taken a second to evaluate how you want to be putting your energy, where you want to be putting your energy, what things take too much of your energy away. Then what I do is work on your internal environment with you. So we start curating the self talk, we start evaluating your thoughts, what your thoughts mean, and what beliefs you hold in your mind. And then I actually help you change those belief systems so that we actually expand ourselves, which allows us to bring more in as well, right? Because if you want to be a millionaire, but the thought of you having $1 million seems crazy, you'll never have the $1 million because you're not in alignment with that. You don't actually believe right now that you could have that, in which case you're telling the universe or telling God that that doesn't seem right for you, that that's not in alignment with you, right? So you can say the words and pray all you want for the $1 million, but if your mindset day to day, if you see someone saying that, oh, I just spent $1 million on this, or I'm a millionaire, and your first thought is, that's crazy, that's a lot of money, right? That means that you're not quite there yet in the millionaire mindset, right? You have to expose yourself mentally and emotionally to what you want to have before you get there. That's what brings it in. So, I hope that you guys enjoy this episode. I'm very excited to hear what you guys have to say, how you guys are going to take what you've learned here and start changing up your environments. And even changing your environment brings in a lot of change as well, right? Like rearranging your furniture, just changing things up, clearing out the energy, opening the windows, getting the freaking air out, and welcoming new energy in. That already starts getting things moving, right? Instead of being stagnant, everything's in the same place, everything hasn't changed, all the old clothes are still in the back of your closet, start changing things up to start getting that energy moving, start bringing in new energy, get rid of anything that's just taking up space that you don't even need, you know, and you're going to get to your goals way faster if you actually look around you and try to support yourself towards that goal. So in the beginning for me, I set a goal I didn't really think about any of this stuff, and it took me a lot longer to get there because I would go on social media and be sucked in and not even realizing that I was sucked in and that I could have gotten 3 hours of work done instead of being on social media, right? Or, I would hang out with somebody that didn't make me feel so good. And then I would do a meditation after and I would realize that. And I was like, oh, you know? So examine the way you feel, examine what your body's trying to tell you when you're on social media, when you are interacting with certain people, and when you're eating certain foods. Okay? So I hope you guys had a great time today. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Integrated Self Podcast. New episodes come out every Friday, and if you're interested in coaching or mentorship with me, you can visit me on TikTok at Universal Health or my Instagram at Universal Health and Wellness. Universal is spelled YOUNIVERSAL. Sending love and light, and I'll see you next week.